Question 18. Part A. 1 1/5 times 2 1/3. Okay. When doing fractional multiplication, you first have to convert these two into top-heavy fractions or improper fractions. So let's do that. So to do that, you multiply that by that and add that. So 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6 over 5, and then put it all over that. So it's that times that plus that all over that. And 2 1/3 becomes 3 times 2 plus 1, which is 7, all over 3. Okay? Now, with multiplication, it's the easiest of the 4 operations you can do with fractions: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. You can dive straight in and just multiply that by that and that by that. You don't have to make the denominator the same with multiplication. So that's great. But before you dive in, it's always a good idea to check if you can cross cancel. And by that, I mean check if this number is divisible by that, and likewise that by that. Or rather, these two numbers can both be simplified. They're both divisible by, they have some common factor, so I'm trying to say. And in this case, they do. The common factor is 3. So we can simplify it by cross-cancelling. 3 goes into 6 twice, and 3 goes into 3 once. And that's much easier now, because now it's just, now we can actually do the multiplication. It's 2 times 7 on the top, which is 14, and it's 5 times 1 on the bottom, which is 5. Now that's improper still. It's, in other words, it's top heavy. So we have to make it into a proper fraction. So 5 goes into 14 twice, remainder of 4. There you go. 2 4/5. Now, if we hadn't checked there for cross-cancelling, let's see what happens. So it was 6 times 7, which is 42, over 5 times 3, which is 15. It's still correct, it just takes longer. You make life more difficult for yourself if you don't check for cross-cancelling. So 42 over 15. Well, they're both divisible by 3, so let's put 3 into both of them. So 3 14s is 42, and 3 into 15 is 5. So now we're at this stage. We've got 14 over 5, which is 2 4/5. So the lesson is always check for cross-cancelling before you multiply, because you make life easy for yourself, and in this case we didn't have to do this line here. We went straight to there. Okay, B. 2 7/15 minus 1 2/3. Right. I'm going to show you 2 ways of doing this, and you pick your favourite. The first way is like so. You split it up like this. That is equal to 2 plus 7/15 minus 1 minus 2/3. Okay? And you now look at the big numbers and pick them out and do 2 minus 1 is 1, and we're left with 7/15 minus 2/3. Okay? So we'll leave the 1 alone for the time being. And now we just do 7/15 minus 2/3. So, fractional subtraction. We have to make the denominators the same. So the first thing you do is check if one of them goes into the other, and it does. 3 goes into 15 5 times. So therefore, we're going to make the common denominator 15. So that's going to stay as 7/15. And this is going to become something over 15. So we've multiplied the bottom by 5 to turn 3 into 15, so therefore we have to multiply the top by 5. 2 times 5 is 10. Right. Leave the 1 alone for the time being. 7 minus 10 is minus 3 over 15. Right, we've got a minus. It would be nice if that were a plus because we'd be finished. So we have a bit more work to do. We now have to do 1 minus 3/15. So again, 1 is the same as 1 divided by 1. So it's fractional subtraction again, and the denominators are 1 and 15. So 1 clearly goes into 15, so we're going to put them both over 15. That one stays the same. So 1 over 1 is the same as 15 over 15. 15 minus 3 is 12. Okay, can we simplify? Yes, we can. They're both divisible by 3. 3 goes into 12 4 times, 3 goes into 15 5 times. 4/5. Okay, here's the other way of doing part B. Rather than splitting it up like this, you make both of these top heavy or improper. And this is what happens. To make this improper, it's that times that plus that. So 15 times 2 is 30, plus 7 is 37 over 15. Minus 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5 over 3. Okay, right, fractional subtraction. Put them both over the same number, the same denominator. Does one go into the other? Yes, it does. 3 goes into 15. So we're going to put them both over 15. Minus something over 15. We multiplied the 3 by 5 to get 15, so we have to multiply the 5 by 5. 5 5s is 25. Now we can do the subtraction because the denominator is the same. 37 minus 25 is 12, and the denominator stays the same in fractional subtraction. So now we've got the 12/15 again, which, as we saw, is 4/5. Okay, now for this question, this method looks better, right? Much quicker. And yes, for this question, it probably is better. But this way is a very good method to know about because why is it a good method to know about? I promise you it is. It's good when these numbers are not too big, when the big numbers are not too big. If that was something like 8 and 7/15 minus 5 and 2/3, well, let's do that. 8 and 7/15 minus 5 and 2/3. If we were to use this method, you can see we've suddenly got a reasonably difficult multiplication to do. We have to do 8 times 15 plus 7, which is doable, but you'd rather avoid it, right? So when these numbers are larger, probably better to go for this method. But because they're small, in this case 2 and 1, it turns out this method is better. With a bit of practice, you'll get the hang of which one to choose. But as long as you're careful, doesn't really matter, both will work.